All right. Well, good morning and good afternoon to some of you. I am so excited that you're here. Today we are going to talk all about core messaging that builds a magnetic brand and business. And this is a topic that I struggled with when I first started my business, and it took a little while to figure out exactly what I was doing. And so now I love to work with my clients on creating what I call their core messaging strategy so that they're able to really connect with their audience and word things in a way, especially when we're doing business online, which most of us are doing nowadays. We have an online presence, so we have to just kind of change how we're wording things because we're not in that environment where we're face-to-face. Excuse me. So today we're going to talk about creating a brand message that resonates with your ideal clients and has you sharing content that your audience is leaning into and wanting to learn more of from you. So we're going to talk about what brand messaging is and how to use it to grow your brand and business. We're going to talk about how to share the benefits of the work that you do in your marketing, because those benefits are so important, not just sharing what you do, but kind of the benefits behind what you're doing for your audience is so important. And then we're going to determine the best ways to share your message to increase engagement with your audience. For those of you that are brand new here today, my name is Darlene Hawley, and I'm a personal branding and business coach. And I work primarily with ambitious, heart-centered online entrepreneurs who want to create a successful business and a personal brand. A lot of times they're afraid to share their unique life story, but they know they want to stand out if they want to build an authentic and profitable online business. And I help them build a solid brand foundation so they can share their message with the world, attract their dream clients, and have the impact, freedom, and flexibility that they desire. All right, so I'm so excited that you guys are here. So the past few masterclasses, I've been hosting these masterclasses. This is our third one so far in this kind of format where we are live on the line together and we have an opportunity to network, to ask questions at the end and get all those questions answered. So we've talked about ideal client work. So last month we talked about ideal client work, and the month before that we were talking about uncovering your niche and getting really specific on who your niche is. So when I work with my clients, I work with them through making sure they're super clear on what their niche is. They get specific on who their ideal client is. And then the third step that I work with them on is their messaging and making sure that they're creating messaging that makes sense to their audience and has people wanting to learn more from them. And that's the tricky part about an online business, is getting really clear on who it is you want to attract and then wording it in a way that makes that people want, you pique their interest. They're a little bit more excited because they're like, oh wait, she said something that really resonates with me. I want to learn a little bit more. So you want to pique curiosity and get people interested in what you're doing and what you're saying. And the best way to do that is through your messaging. So messaging is so important. And it really matters that you know exactly who you're talking to. So you want to know, what are their struggles? Are they struggling? Are they struggling with specific things? Like maybe they're struggling with time management. If that's something that you know that your ideal client is struggling with, and you are the expert that can help them with that, then it's important that you're aware of what things they might be struggling with so that you can word things in the right way to attract them in on those different topics. So remember, your messaging isn't really about you. A lot of times we think, oh, I'm sharing my story and my message with the world. So a lot of times people will just share their personal side to things and they forget to share the other areas as well. It's important that you kind of transition it to where you're sharing your story and kind of your bits and pieces, but you're doing it in a way that has your audience feeling involved in that process. They're connecting to you. Because remember, your story is just a supporting element to create trust and reliability and to spark interest with your audience. So you need to know who your ideal client is. Last month we talked all about doing market research, and those of you that have worked with me in the past know that market research is one of my favorite ways to really get clear on who your ideal client is. And it's also a great way to find out the right kind of messaging that you want to use with your ideal client. So when you're interviewing and doing market research with potential clients, you can use the words that you pick up during those conversations and then use that in your messaging, because those are the exact words that your clients are looking for. And So it's going to have more people leaning in because you're going to be speaking to that same type of audience. So when I first started my business back in 2007, messaging was definitely something that I did not quite, I could teach it all day long, but I was having a really hard time internalizing it for myself to attract clients in. So it was hard for me to figure out exactly how to share my message, especially online when you're not face-to-face and talking with somebody in person. Most of my business in the beginning was built on the ground, networking one-to-one, going to events and different things. And I found that was easier for me to build relationships and connections. And then when I tried to do that on the online space, I was struggling with it because it's a different beast. It was a different type of atmosphere. You had to be more clear and specific with your wording versus having like a casual conversation at a networking event where you're talking to somebody at a cocktail party or in a networking room. So you have to find ways to stand out and grab their attention. So we're competing with so many different things, especially in the online world, right? Like when you log on to Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you see pictures of people's cute kids and food pictures, and there's cute memes of kitty cats and puppy dogs, and there's just a lot of different noise out there. So while we're trying to grab people's attention with our online marketing, we have to compete with all these different things. So it's important that we kind of find a way that sets ourselves apart and has us stand out to our audience. So I want to teach you today how to communicate what you do so that your audience really understands what it is you do. And like I said, we want them to lean in. I'm going to lean in a little bit while I say that, because we want them to lean in. We want them to want more. We want to give them a taste of what we do, and we want them to be attracted to us to where they want to come and check out our website. They want to follow us on our Facebook page. They want to go check out our stories on Instagram. We want to be able to get them to want more little nuggets. So you want to leave kind of like breadcrumbs along the way so that people can understand what you're saying in a way that pulls them in. So last month on the Masterclass, we talked about your introduction summary, your hook. Some people call it like your elevator pitch, your cocktail party pitch, whatever you want to call it. But we talked about using that to get really clear on how you're communicating. So all of us today on the call when we opened, we all got a chance to introduce ourselves, which is one of my favorite parts. I have you guys do that so you can build connection with each other. And it's also a great way to practice just getting used to saying who you are, what your title is, what it is that you do. And then it helps you go through the I help, and then filling in like who is it that you desire to help, and then what are those struggles that those clients are looking for. So how do you sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied here. So going over like that introductory summary, hi, my name is Darlene Hawley, and I'm a business coach, and I help heart-centered online entrepreneurs to grow a strong brand and business. And then go through that your summary with clarity so that you can attract people in and they know exactly why they want to work with you. So it's important to get in the habit of just practicing that out loud, because sometimes if we don't practice it out loud, it's hard to get the people that we're talking to, whether we're online or in person, to really understand what it is we do and how we can help them. So if you struggled last month with your hook, or if you still feel like maybe your hook introductory summary is not 100% where you want it at today, some of the things we're going to talk about today as part of the core messaging is going to be exactly what you need to kind of fill in some of those holes to get people to lean in a little bit more and want to learn more about you. So let's talk about core messaging. So core messaging is something that took me a little while to realize that how important it was to get to not only the message that I'm sharing with my audience, but take it like a couple layers deeper so that people really understood what it is that I did. So I'm going to have you guys create 10 to 15 core messages for your business. And this is going to encompass your brand as a whole and how it benefits your audience. So remember, you're the expert. So everything that you talk about is going to be wrapped around your business and your expertise and what you want to be known for. So it's important to come up with 10 to 15 core messages that you can share with your audience that is going to allow them to understand what you do, how you help them, and have people wanting to hear more from you. So we don't want to just talk about random things, especially when we're in the online space. If we're talking about random topics in different areas and it's not really resonating or making a lot of sense, or if you're talking about things most of the time, but then you throw in random different conversations, your audience might become a little bit confused. They don't know exactly what you're known for, what you're an expert in. So it's important that we use like these 10 to 15 core messages to kind of pull everything together. That way, if you were to meet me in person at a networking event, and then you left the event and you went home and you had my business card and you went to my website, and then after you went to my website, you visited my social media channels, all those areas would show up kind of the same way. We'd be talking about the same things. You would realize that you talked to me at the networking event, and I told you that I was a business coach and I work with online entrepreneurs to create a successful brand foundation for their business. And then you go to my website and then you see that that's what I do. And then you follow my social media channels, and it's apparent through all those different steps what I'm known for. And I want that exact same thing for you. So that way, if we're not confusing our audience and not making ourselves stand out as an expert. So a lot of times we do a lot of things and we can help people in a lot of areas, but when we narrow that down a little bit, like we talked about with getting clear on what our niche is, when we narrow our niche down and we know exactly who our ideal client is and who we're working with, it makes it that much easier to share our message in a cohesive way so that it stands out against all those different platforms. So messaging really only matters if you know who you're talking to. So today I want us to create our core messages. So this allows you to get clear on what you do and how you show up and how you serve your audience. It also gets you in the habit of creating copy and marketing strategies that share the benefits for your audience, not just the what that you do or the how, but giving the real benefit of what it is and why working with you is going to be so important and valuable. All right, so step one. So we kind of went through like the background of the core messaging. So now I want you guys to kind of think for a minute, what are the core messaging statements that you want to be known for in your industry so that you can stand out and attract clients in? So get out a piece of paper and start thinking about what are the things that you share in your messaging that attract people into you, and what are the topics that you cover that you can go a little bit deeper on to get people to understand how you work. I'm going to give you guys some examples.
Until 2.
All right, I'm going to give you guys some examples. So I support my clients in uncovering your brand message. That's one of my core messages. So I support my clients in uncovering your brand message. And that's great, right? Like, we want to know how to uncover what our brand message is. But I want to teach you guys to take it a couple steps further so that people really understand what that means. Because you might come along my website, or I might meet you at a networking event, and I might mention that I help people uncover what their brand message is, but it might not make sense completely for what that might actually look like. And on the online space, a lot of people do this. They say just a little bit about what they do, but they don't go all the way into it. So you would want to add to that. So by saying, I support my clients in uncovering their brand message, there's no urgency, and I haven't gotten to the core of what they really want, what my ideal audience really wants. So why would they want to uncover their brand message? What would be the benefit to that? What would be useful to uncover the brand message? So we're going to use this in all areas. You can use these core messages, whether you're in social media, on your sales page, on your website. So kind of think as your business as a whole, when you use these core message statements, as we get into a little bit further, like you can use these in all those places. You have to learn to communicate well and get to the core of the result. So keep in mind your niche and your ideal client work, your hook, your introductory summary, and what it is that your ideal client really wants and what they need to learn about you so you can take it even further. So we're going to do 2 benefits to that statement for why they really want and why they need to work with you. So clients want to know that you completely understand where they're at and why they should work with you. You need to be super specific of how you can help them transform their business or their health or their wellness from what your client gets and how they will grow by working with you. So the benefit of the benefit is what we're going to call it. So I gave you the statement, I support my clients in uncovering your brand message. And now you're going to add 2 benefits to that beginning part of the core message. So I support my clients in uncovering your brand message, learn how you can confidently communicate what you do, and have your ideal clients follow you like bees on flowers. So for that example, I added 2 benefits to it. So it opened up with, I support my clients in uncovering your brand message. And then I shared 2 benefits of why it's important that you uncover your brand message. So they're going to learn how you can confidently communicate what you do and have your ideal client follow you like bees on flowers. It's kind of a fun example. Bees on flowers, so imagine the attraction that comes with that. So you want to add 2 benefits to each of the core messages. So let me know if that's making sense. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them below, and I can swing back and answer them during the recording or even at the end. But I want to give you guys a couple different other examples as well, just so you can kind of start to see how this works. So another core message of mine could be, I help my clients create a step-by-step 90-day plan. So I work with my clients, and I'm just giving you guys some examples from my business because that's obviously easier for me to talk about, but start seeing how you can transition this into your business as well. So I help my clients create a step-by-step 90-day plan. That's something I do with my clients. All of my clients, we create either 90-day or 6-month plans for their business so that they know what they're working on. But I want to, in my messaging, I want to take that another step further and add 2 benefits to it. So I help my clients create a step-by-step 90-day plan and develop techniques so you're constantly moving forward in your business. Say goodbye to the money blocks that you've been holding on to, and that money flows in and not just out. And then another example could be so that you can become crystal clear on exactly who your ideal client is, so that you can develop offerings that meet their exact needs. All right, I'm gonna give one more example just so you guys can follow along with this. So another thing I say is I offer smart, hardworking entrepreneurs the chance to uncover and own their story. And that's great right there, right? I offer smart, hardworking entrepreneurs a chance to uncover and own their story. But I want to take it further. So I could say, so that they can attract their ideal audience and create a unique message that makes them stand out online. So do you see how adding just those 2 benefits to it, it enhances why they should work with you and has people leaning in a little bit more and wanting to know more. So using your messaging allows you to build trust with your audience and has them wanting more from you. So one of my favorite quotes is, if they like you, they'll listen. And if they trust you, they'll buy from you. So when you're engaging in online marketing and you're creating these relationships with people, you want them to get to know who you are. You want them to trust you. You want them to like you. And so it's important in your messaging to make sure that you're standing out versus all the competition that's out there. There's a lot of people that do either exactly what you do or something very similar. So how do you make yourself stand out so that people are not just listening to you, but they're actually wanting to buy from you as well, and they want to learn more from you specifically? So you can use your core messaging in a lot of places. So you can put it as part of your summary, your hook. So if you were struggling with getting some of those benefits into your introductions, you can go back through and kind of add a benefit, 1 or 2 benefits to each of those statements to make people lean in a little bit more and get clearer. You can use it when you're sharing your brand story on your website, on your mission statement. You can use it on social media. You can use it when you're just doing social media posts and you're just sharing stories that apply to your business. You can take it and just add a couple more benefits to each sentence. That way people understand a little bit more about what you do instead of it just being like a blanket statement where it's like, oh, that's nice, that's interesting, but this will help you take it to the next level. And you can also use it for showing up and adding value online. So people want to learn more about you in the online space. You can do research to find out what they want to hear from you, ask questions, do polls. You can repurpose your blog posts and pull pieces from that information with your core messaging already in it. and use that on social media. All right, so to kind of wrap up as we go through this, I just want to give you another tip that you can use your core messaging with when you're specifically using it for social media. So a lot of times people feel like it's harder to use their core messaging on social media just when they're just showing up and building a following and growing interest and growing their ideal client base and their audience. So you can use your core messaging on your social media as well. And this might look like, so taking a question. So you might open up your social media post with a question, and this could be a question that's pleasure or pain. So I'll use the example, are you struggling with getting everything done during the day to run your business? I could open a social media post with that. Are you struggling with getting everything done plus running your business? And then you want to tie in your personal story to that. So you could want to be relatable and authentic when you're showing up online. So you want to share little pieces of yourself in your social media post. I call them like a micro story. So you might put, it could be one sentence or it could be 4 sentences of a story that goes with your lead question. So are you struggling with getting everything done plus running your business? And then I could share the story. I totally understand. When I first started my business, I struggled with getting everything done as well and had to manage my time very closely and create a strategy that worked for me and my business. So I opened it with a leading question, and then I tied in a little bit of story to it. And then you can ask an engaging question to your social media audience to get them to comment. A lot of times people will just like it or give it a heart if it's on Instagram, but we want them to engage with us as well. So always do like a call to action at the end of your social media post. So you might say, what tools did you use to help manage your time at the bottom of it? So just ask a question. So what tools did you use, or has anybody else ever experienced this before? Get people to want to leave a comment onto your social media post. And then the 4th thing that you want to do with it is to have a picture attached. So a well-branded, attention-grabbing picture for your social media post. So there's the 4 steps for the social media post. It's lead with a question. It could be pleasure or pain. Number 2 is tie in your personal story. Add a little bit of personal story into every single post that you share. Step 3 is the call to action. So ask a question or some sort of engagement from your audience so that they can respond to you. And then the 4th one is to have a picture attached, and just make sure it's well branded and grabs attention for your audience. So I'm going to thank you guys all so much for being a part of this training today. I'm going to open it up in just a minute for questions, and we can kind of dive in a little bit deeper into what your core messaging might look like for you. If you're catching this on the replay, please leave a comment below or send me an email and let me know if you have any questions about core messaging or what that might look like for you. Or if you write out your 10 to 15 core messages with their 2 benefits to each one, send those to me. I'd love to look them over and give you any feedback or insight that might help you grow your business